Apple beatdown last night at the Garden. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks hosting Game 1 versus the Sixers. We'll start here, under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Brunson goes at Paul George, shoots the midi.
I would say it was a longie.
Okay. Under 2 minutes left the first. Kelly Oubre Jr. goes for the layup. He gets blocked by Anunoby. Anunoby has the ball on the other end.
OG is really having a great start to this postseason.
9 minutes left the second. Josh Hart strips the ball, gets it to Bridges. Fast break finish. Anunoby and Bridges, first duo to each average 20 points, 75% field goal percentage in the same two-game span.
Now that's 3 and D.
Here's Brunson.
That's a midi.
I would say that's more like
a floater. Okay,
yeah,
you're
push
right.
shot even.
All right, it's 1-1. Who will win the next?
Final seconds of the second quarter. Mikal Bridges kicks it out to Brunson.
What do you call that one?
3 ball. As the clock expires, Brunson 5 straight 35-point games versus the Sixers.
He had to go to the bathroom. He's like, get out of my way.
Tied with Jordan for the longest streak of all time. That's always good. 7 minutes left in the third. Towns sets the screen, gets the ball back, and a triple for Cat. The Knicks go on to dominate the Sixers 137-98. New York's 39-point win, its largest in a home playoff game in franchise history, and second largest in a playoff game behind their 51-point win over the Hawks in Game 6 just a few days ago this postseason. Jalen Brunson was with SVP last night and spoke about the blowout wins.
I don't think it's sustainable for us to keep thinking we're going to win by so much.
Sure.
I think we have the confidence to win. But I think most importantly, just having the right mindset, making sure we're paying attention to the little details. All the little things matter, and just can't lose sight of the main thing and staying focused.
We're playing well, but it doesn't mean anything if we can't find a way to get 3 more wins. So we just got to stick to the task at hand. What you said is the last 4 games. The key word is last. It doesn't have anything to do with the next 3, 4, 5, 6. We got to stay locked in and be disciplined and execute at a high level.
Oh, no. The key word right here for New York Knicks fans from me is I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was seduced by the Philly Game 7 special, and I thought that maybe on paper they had more talent. No. I will have to bow down to this game changer, big body Brunson, because over the last 3 games, he's averaged 30 on 62% shooting, and he does his damage off of the dribble. Great screen by Josh Hart, and there it gets to where he was hotter than anyone else on the floor in New York. He had 27 points in the first half, and guess what? This is what I like, the unselfish nature of this Knicks squad right now. Cat knows he's cooking. He gets the ball. He doesn't even look at the rim, gives it back to Brunson. Brunson, once again, gets to his mid-range. He is lethal off the dribble. This right here, I will never bet against this guy and this squad again, at least when it comes to the Eastern Conference, because they are dominant, and so is he. Jalen Brunson shot 6 for 7 on pull-ups when driving in Game 1. You're right. I should have done this. His 12 points scored on those shots are the second most in any game of his career, regular season or playoffs. I learned my lesson. New York, stand up.
So, Brian, what have the Knicks figured out during this stretch?
Well, they've just played such clean execution on offense, and it's just led to great. Look, when you get hot, you get hot. But they had a really good game plan in this one. They went after Joel Embiid. Now, look, I know that Joel Embiid gets attacked regularly in the pick and roll. That has been the case since he's been in his career. But the Knicks had a purpose. Now, here he is. It's his classic drop coverage, all right? So he's going to drop back. He gets caught in no man's land. Mitch gets behind him. After that happens, now he's going to be very, very wary of Mitch. So he's going to stick with him. He's going to say, oh, man, I don't want Mitch to go back to the rim again. I'm going to go with him this time. And then he gives up a straight line drive to the rim. Look, it's one thing to have this in your lineup. This is just a basic pick and pop. Joel is slow to recover because he's been getting beat on drives. Look, it's one thing to have this in your offense. This is not like next level stuff, but getting it, having it cleanly run and executed is the pathway to getting quality offense in the postseason. That's what the Knicks did.
And speaking of quality offense, the hub of their offense has been Karl Anthony Towns. And on that breakdown, I showed that on some plays he didn't even look at the basket because he was feeding the guy that had the hot hand in Jalen Brunson. But his playmaking, you have to appreciate and give attention to this, because this is a part of his game that I don't think many people give him enough credit. Over the last 4 games, he's had at least 6 assists. And I believe in that span, right, he had 2 triple-doubles? Was it 4 or so? Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. He had 2 triple-doubles.
He never had a playoff game with more than 5 assists. He's had 6 for 4 games in a row.
Yeah,
and
that's
double-doubles.
the longest streak. And so finally, I'm glad sometimes you have to go through it to get to it. They went through a very difficult loss in the first-round series versus the Atlanta Hawks, and they made the requisite adjustments. And right now, this is the best version of the New York Knicks that I have seen in a very long time, at least within the last 2 years. One
thing that happened in this game, of everything that the Knicks did, Tyrese Maxey, we have not said his name. We've been talking about this game for most of the show. We have not said Tyrese Maxey's name once. That's not going to get it done. He only took 9 shots in like 27, 28 minutes. They need him to be a bigger factor. I kind of feel like with Embiid being so hot these last 3 games, all of the Philly guards, not just Maxey, were kind of looking to get Embiid going, and their game plan, I think, was to get the Knicks into foul trouble, so it did kind of work, but it took Maxey out. Maxey needs to get back to being the ball-dominant player that he's been so effectively against the Knicks in the past.
We'll see if the Sixers can bounce back. D9. Prince was singing about that, okay? That's how long ago it was. All right, George Sedano in here for Malika Andrews, Brian Windhorst, Chineo Gumake here in our L.A. studios. Brian, how did the Wolves pull this off?
Good game plan. Check. Poise on the road. Check. And mental toughness. That's what it takes. I was so impressed with the mental toughness that Minnesota showed in this game, because you're going to get your shot blocked 12 times. You're going to go through some stuff, okay? And what impressed me is that every time they got their shot blocked, they just kept going. They didn't give up on the play. And look, we showed a minute ago, sometimes Victor fell down. 12 shots got blocked, Chiney. Guess what? 5 times, including that one right there, the Wolves were able to get the ball back. It ended up generating 6 second chance points in a game they won by 2.
Yeah, it takes a level of commitment and trust to understand that you're going to get your shot blocked, but you're also going to play a style that benefits you, because the ping pong, when Wemby blocks and get the ball back, those are actually great looks because he was out of the play, because he really attacks those blocks. Now, on the other side, you just have to think about the level of sacrifice that it takes for a team to be great. And right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves understand that when it comes to Anthony Edwards. And you saw he had 18 points, 11 of them in the fourth quarter. And the sacrifice here comes between Ant and Julius Randle, who is paving the way, literally, for Ant to be able to get to his floater. And that is the commitment that Chris Finch talked about post-game, that Julius was so good moving without the basketball.
You heard of a ball screen? That was a basket screen.
And how about that move right there? Yeah. Rudy Gobert, again, is blocking out offensively so that Ant can stay in single coverage and he can cook. He came into the game on a minutes restriction, but we saw the first shot go down. He's like, I'm back, I'm here. It took a team effort for him to be successful to help carry the load.
And I love TJ Shannon's quote afterwards when they were asked about being blocked by Wemby so many times. He said, he can't block them all, right? He paraphrased, right? But he said, I can't block them all. We're going to keep going at him. I'm going to keep trying to dunk on him.
You can't catch them all. You can't catch them all.
And I mentioned the game plan before. Chris Finch came in here with the game plan, not only to deal with Wembanyama, but how to get Ant as much as they could get out of him in those 25 minutes. They set it up so they had time in the fourth quarter. He was as well rested as he can. Comes in, scores all those fourth quarter points. Yes, Ant did a great job of getting himself there. Great game plan by Chris Finch, knowing what he was going to have from number 5 and maximizing it, put themselves in position.
We were all here yesterday, and when the news broke that Anthony Edwards was going to play, I said, we're underselling this.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
It's a big deal for these reasons. He was not a full participant. Like Wendy said, he was in a minutes restriction, but to be able to manage when he could be his best, and most importantly, everyone's been waiting for, the full maturation of Anthony Edwards. He's a guy who's himself, and we love his authenticity. But after the game, him fixated on the turnover, him fixated on not getting those blockouts, to me shows the growth and the standard that he's holding himself to. And I think that's why this team overall is doing well in this postseason.
Yeah, it's great to see, certainly, how he is maturing in so many ways. But Victor Wembanyama, meanwhile, became just the 3rd player to record a triple-double with blocks in the playoffs. Since blocks were officially tracked back in 1974, he joined Hakeem Olajuwon and Andrew Bynum in that category. Here was Wemby when asked if there was any type of silver lining after the loss.
Is there a silver lining here to as tough as this one might be?
Yeah, I don't know what a silver lining means, but yeah, of course, obviously, we have to be better. And as I said, it shows up on the stat sheet. But we need to figure out before 48 hours what we can do better. And I got no doubt that we will.
So, Janae, is there such a thing as a silver lining after a loss like that?
On our pre-show call, what did you know?
I was kind of a rainbow lining because isn't that the Spurs or don't
Right, that's fair. Fair point. Yes.
I don't remember what I said.
And there is no French
what you said
translation
is that
for
it's
silver
funny how
lining.
he said there's no silver lining. For him, it's black or white.
Right.
We win or we lose, and we have to move and learn in order to get back in the win column. The issue to me is the three-point shooting. And, you know, you highlighted on that call, our pre-show call, the need for
I
them
was a
to
star
be.
on that